Alvin was interviewing the Bill Trotman, and he was explaining that he got that bell and the bass line for the tune from the school bell, which happened to be the church bell in those days. And that brings a very interesting and relevant point, that the church's involvement in education, and we know that has not waned, that has actually even got more special, has been historically so. And they predated what we know as government education, for obvious reasons, because that would have started after independence. But pre-independence education, quote unquote, came with a Bible, and came with religious dogma and philosophy and interests. So they were pioneers, so to speak, in the education field. The reasons we can discuss and the results we can argue about.
I've always said it.
But we in an age now where we preach or the separation between church and state. Bill was explaining that that's how it was. Church was school and school was church. And therefore that had a serious role to play in education. Hence the bell that you're hearing there was actually a church bell.
By the way, Bill Trotman is about 90 something.
Yeah, see, he's close. He's up there. He's up there. You know, I was looking at his history with cabaret and comedian extraordinaire in Montreal. He talked about living in Montreal and wanted to come home to make a hit. And he said, well, it had to be about school children. If all children sing "Mommy, Mommy, I want to go back to school," it might be actually catchy. He said this was his thinking. And so went his production.
But he wasn't, he wasn't a real Calypsonian as we look at Calypsonians today. I mean, I remember Bill Trotman in my years as a little boy. He was really a comedian.
Correct. More so. But I remember him because he did attend St. Dominic's RC. I am a past student of St. Dominic's RC. But to be honest, before I knew him about Calypso, I knew him as Santa Claus.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes, for real. Yeah.
He was our Santa Claus for years. Actually, I don't know any other Santa Claus. And now that you say it, I understand why he was Santa Claus.
but even listening to the song now, that school bell, when I was going primary school, before secondary school, the school bell used to be an actual bell, you know.
Yes.
They take and they ring, you know, the principal or somebody come and ring that bell, you know.
Yes.
But now, I mean, when I started going to secondary school, the bell was an electronic bell.
Yes. Everything is modernized.
It was probably on a timer or something.
Yes.
So at 12 o'clock or 10 to 5 to 12, it would, that kind of thing. But now, I don't know what exists in school. I haven't been to a school over the years. So many things have changed.
Many things have changed. But that must have been catchy in the day, you know. And our callers, when you do call, you will tell us if you lived in that era with Mommy, Mommy, I want to go back to school with Bill Trotman. But how many years later, maybe students singing the same song? You know, this July, August.
Sure, people want to go back to school, right?
Well, some, because remember, for those little children, all their friends, and I don't know if that has changed. I mean, we get more sensitive now, but
school was closed for probably about a long time. Going back to school was a big thing because, I mean, you're home for like almost 2 months.
Yes.
And you're away from your friends.
That's where your friends are.
You know, or your natural habitat, you know.
Remember you spend more time, as a child. And you have your new shoes.
Yeah.
Your bata.
Your bata bullets. Or your Doric.
and it well polish up.
Yeah.
Because you have to polish your shoe. Those were the days when your parents make sure
Doric
your shoes polish.
Yeah.
And even though you're not using the white shoe yet for PE, you have your whitening.
Yeah. Yeah, whitening and thing.
And you have your socks.
But in my days, I don't even think we used to use white shoes, white shoes. That white shoes was girl shoes, so
Right,
you'll see
right.
girls with whitening and all that kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
But we had the normal Doric and the Bata Bullet, and eventually it became Pro-Keds and Converse and the other one I can't remember the name of.
And you cover your books with your brown paper.
Your brown paper.
Yes,
I
you
think
make
they
sure.
still do that.
You make sure, and my parents made sure that we were involved.
Yeah.
They taught us that after a while, you know, write your name on the book.
Yeah.
Don't write your name in the book. Your brother has to use it.
Yes. And don't just write it on the brown paper. Somebody will thief it.
Somebody will thief it. You know, you have to take care of your books.
Yeah.
And your bag. You know, today is I don't know if you know, the new trend is spray ground.
Spray what?
Spray ground bag. If you ever see them, they're very expensive.
Right.
I find it very ugly, but that's my view.
Somebody appeared really tell me, she said, listen, my daughter wants some bag. Maybe that's the bag.
I'm sure that's the bag.
For that bag.
Yes.
I remember just a few years ago when my daughter was going to school, the bag that was a bag that every child wanted, and was a Jan Sport.
Jan Sport.
Yeah.
I mentioned that some people, and they say, Ronaldo, you have to get with the times.
Yeah.
Nobody using Jan Sport bag. Yeah. I can't remember what bag we use in our day.
Nah, in my days was a kind of green bag, like an army bag.
With the buckle.
Yes.
With the two buckles on the side.
Yes. Yeah, that was the days. That was the bag we used in those days. They still have them sometimes. You see them in those old Chinese store. And
very popular bags.
Yeah.
Very popular bags, and
now children want, Nike and certain kind of Nike, not just any Nike, and so proprietors making a lot of money from school.
Correct.
Because then the one that was wearing last term, they want a new one, which might cost the parent almost 1,000 something or more. And then you have the bag almost 1,000, and that's just the bag and the shoe.
Yes.
You ain't talking about the uniform yet. You ain't talking about the books yet.
Yes.
So to outfit one child, probably a secondary Form 2 child, is probably about 5,000 or 6,000.
Yes.
And that is unfortunate because, as we say before, as we said before, on our last show on Friday.
Yeah.
It is very expensive to outfit a child to go back to school.
Yes.
And maybe we should probably look at our school governance model to bring about some kind of change to ease parents or ease the burden on parents at this time. Because you have a lot of people out of jobs, you have a lot of people lost jobs, you have a lot of people who not making it, and this reopening of school to a large extent is added pressures, added commitment on parents, and children don't want to hear that they have no money. You remember in school you had to look at a certain way.
Yes.
Yeah, to be inside, and therefore. It puts a lot of peer pressure on children. They rather not go to school.
Correct.
Than to have to.
That's the psychology.
Yeah, that's the psychology.
And you want new shoe, new socks, new bag to go with your new books.
Yeah.
Pen, pencil. We had a geometry pan. You know.
You don't know why I hear somebody say geometry pan.
Really, it's eraser you use, but we used to say rubber.
Yeah, rubber.
Yeah, the rubber.
Yeah.
Good. And you're all set for school, but I thank God for a father who was an educator. My father was a teacher. So the highlight of your July, August had to be, especially in the August period, going through the books.
Yeah.
You had to read those books before Monday. I ain't buying books for style. But now, for some people, not all, the emphasis have shifted in how the children look.
Yeah.
As apart from what they know.
Yeah.
So some parents have abdicated that traditional responsibility, and I going through the book with you.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a kind of pressure on both children and parents But I would say parents for the most part, because they feel a sense of responsibility
Yes.
to be able to provide all the things the child want.
Yes.
Because as we say, it has a lot to do with the kind of pressure your child will be under if they go to school and they didn't have certain things,
Yes.
or they didn't, especially the aesthetics, the
Yes.
things that they are judged by the peers.
Correct. That's a reality.
And if parents sometimes doesn't want to understand that, but it is a reality. Some children.
You gotta have a little money to go in the shop.
But the thing is, you know, if I am to go back and talk about the psychology of that, and if you look back,
Yes.
the children, to a large extent, and I hate to say this, but to a large extent, and it happened more among our East Indians brothers and sisters,
Yes.
they appeared to be not as fortunate as us when I was going to school.
Yes.
But they are the one that succeeded more in schools, and they are the one that today the doctors and the lawyers and all that kind of thing,
Yes.
as opposed to things. So parents must be guided by that also, because it's not really what you have on. It's what you have in your head.
And that is a value. What you're saying is correct, but you have to instill that value in the child.
Exactly.
Because they are normal and they will feel away.
Exactly.
He have a new bag, I don't want a new bag. He have a new shoe. But that's where your parents, if your parents don't sit you down and talk to you, and parents say it in a funny way. My father used to say, money don't come from tree, you know. Money don't grow on trees.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't have.
Exactly.
It's only, and I talk about this the other day. Well, you know, I come from a big family,
Yeah,
right?
I come from a bigger family.
There's 7 of us, right? And it's only upon my father's passing I realized I watched his pay slip. And his pay slip was about $1,100.
You see? Although you might have been able to do, the inflation might have been different, and
Yeah.
even with inflation it might have been consistent.
But still,
with time
remember,
and earning.
that's not just for children, that's
Yeah,
for all bills.
Everything.
So he did not do his, well, he was a masonry teacher. He didn't do his, what they used to say, PJ, and extramural lessons, and polytechnic lessons, because he wanted to, he had to. That's what you have to do to take care of kids.
Yeah.
And the society now is even more expensive.
So could you imagine now single parent
Yes.
families, mothers especially,
Yes.
who have to prepare and outfit a child or 2,
Yes.
or sometimes 3 children, 4, 5
Yes.
children. How they making it? I was looking at that video with a lady who was talking about she put her husband in court for her child, and how long it takes to get you dressed there, and
Yeah, that's another issue.
and she was actually crying. I saw it somewhere, but it tells me what people in Trinidad and Tobago in this day and age, given the, I know we will talk about some of the things that needs to be addressed in the education system,
Yes.
but what are the real realities of parents? Not just that one, but a lot of parents go through the same thing. I know of a lot of them who go through the same thing. I mean, and it's hard on the men too, but it's very, very, very difficult. It's very onerous on parents during this time, based on what the system would have not evolved to. And you remember last show we were talking about, or the Thursday,
Yes.
I was talking a lot about the new classroom.
Yes.
And what the new classroom should entail. We have had things like smart boards and all that kind of thing. Yes, no, I know about that. Those things have evolved so much, so that the need for all the set of books that a child will buy, to me that is unnecessary in my view.
Yeah.
Right? If we could just buy the rights from the publishers, and that is the government, and provide those books. But it seems like it is a market around July, August to facilitate some business.
Yes.
And to me, that whole thought is like a reverse of what should be happening.
Correct. So today was the first day of school, And we want to congratulate all parents and children for going out and fulfilling and believing in the promise of education.
Right.
I'll put it like that. Believing in the
And
promise.
to all the persons who say education is free, I wonder if they're still saying education is free.
Oh no, it ain't free. And free. And
it never was in my opinion.
It never was.
But you know.
And we have to give. We have to begin by giving a hearty congratulations to the Minister and the Ministry of Education. From all reports we have heard that most schools, almost 90-something%, are open, you know, and the repair program was successful. I doubt it would be totally, because you know there might be things that happen on the weekend or last week, so some principals may have had to scramble, and you know, but I think it was very prudent to give more time to have a proper start. You know, some of us believe that we just start something and start anything. So you have children have to go to school and come home. And come home half day. And that poses a lot of problems to parents.
Yes,
good. So it's better the children have a good start to this term. And from what I have heard, the repair program was successful. Much more successful it has been in many years. I don't have the statistics, but I read that on the newspaper.
But you are a school teacher, so you would know.
Yes.
And I think I would have heard something in relation to that by the PTA.
Yes, the NPTA president,
man, right?
Yes.
Or former.
Yes.
And you know, if that is the case, then that's a good sign. It shows, of course, the Baton side is thinking about the future of the nation.
Yes.
Thinking about what is priority, because a lot of things it's difficult to do everything for every single area
Yes.
of our development.
Yes.
At this time, given we haven't had a budget,
Yes.
and you know, certain kind of monies is very hard to come by in the country. So if it is said that they would have done that, certainly they realize where the investment has to be made, and if they in fact did that, then that runs on the board.
Yes, runs on the board, and we want to congratulate, and we want to say openly, because this is a show returned umpire. We call it as we see it.
Yeah.
So where the state, in our view, has been laxed or lapsed, we say it. And when we see there's a good thing.
You saw police in the schools?
Yes, and I was now coming to that. The other positive thing I saw in my environment was the presence of these SRP officers and their seniors who were touring. And like anything else, we have to be patient, because this is a new relationship. Recently, I visited another jurisdiction abroad, and they were like, you know, we have that in schools, right? You know, we have school police in America, right? We have police for schools in America. That's not a new. We decided that how many years ago that is part of it, and they actually do also have detention centers for truant school children, which is different for the detention centers for criminal children, juveniles.
We're not in any way suggesting that we try and get locked up, but
and what I mean detention centers, it means that when they are on suspension for infractions, they don't stay home and get into more trouble. There's a place for them to go, and they are taught there. Good.
Right.
They are taught there. They're interviewed. They analyzed before they reintegrate in the school system, and that's forward thinking, and that's what you want, because you don't want children just home, because some of them, die style 7 days I will get suspended and come back and go, and they're doing that at nauseum. So we did see the presence of these officers. I think there's some teething issues with the authorities and the roles of principals versus police and MTS. So you have principals, police, MTS on one compound.
Well, MTS,
safety officers.
I was always told that MTS and safety officers. I was also MTS is not there to protect the teachers or the school, but more the teachers, but not there to give any guidance to the children. And that kind of, they're really there to protect the property.
Right.
Right. Correct.
Yes. The plan. That's what we hear. We
always say about MTS. I don't see the need. If you just here to guard the school, and I mean, give us a break with that. But
So
anyway,
for some of these schools who have been bolstered with the presence of SRP officers, I want to say that's a good move in my view. It helps it de-escalate some of the tensions that teachers have to go through with confrontations with students.
but what kind of power, what kind of authority does
Well,
the police have?
Well, that's the main issue, because remember, an officer will have, as part of him being an officer of the law, powers of arrest. How that functions in the school environment with children and the judge's rules, good, with that document about how you treat, interrogate, and etc. children, it's totally different.
It cannot apply in the school because the principal supposed to have sovereign authority over the school.
Right. So therefore, those relationships, those reporting and instructive relationships will have to work out. You know, and who are they answerable to in a school compound? If not the principal, then who? Good, because me answering to you, if you don't understand what I do, is also folly. If you're not into policing and crime fighting and whatever, then I don't. We can have a conversation beyond a certain point.
Right, but the principal has, as I said, sovereign authority over his or her school.
Not only the plan for the children.
Right, and that is in the
That's
Education
the
Act.
Education Act.
Right.
So there will have to be some discussion as this relationship matures about what happens in an instance. You know, what do they do? Who they arrest? Do they arrest? Do they not arrest? Because we know we have been calling for interventions.
They
in
might be
schools.
able to detain
Yes.
on the authority of the principal.
Yeah. Well, should it be on the authority of the principal? Suppose the principal do find so. Remember, you're officer of the law. If you see if children behaving unruly or fighting or weapons, you have to do what the law empowers you to do.
Yeah. So that's something obviously they may have to work out.
Yes.
I don't know how. Maybe it has been worked out.
Yeah. It will roll out eventually, because you know there's always community policing.
Yeah.
And there are other arms. So we want to, and as we on policing, I read about the rescue of the pilot who was kidnapped.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he was rescued. So we want to say congratulations again. Hands off to the hardworking police and the officers who spearheaded it, and the search and rescue. I think they were under search and rescue were involved. A couple people were involved.
So ransom was paid then?
No, not from what I hear. I think they did their intelligent work, and they rescued the gentleman. They didn't get involved in the specifics because they didn't want to put people's lives in danger. But at the end of the day, again, we talk about police being corrupt, police this, police that. When they do what they're supposed to do at a high level and an excellent level, this is the result, and we want to say thanks, because I could only imagine how the pilot felt. You know, here he has been taken to hospital, so I think maybe he got some lashes. It looks like he got. It wasn't easy. It wasn't a holiday. It wasn't a plane ride. Good, but he's alive and well, thank God. And we want to say hats off to the police officers, all the police officers, and the leadership of the police service who organize these things. It gives us faith that when called upon and given the right information, because they would have had to have received the information, good, given the right information, there can be much success in policing. So that relationship that the police has with the community and with the people at large is one that we must safeguard. We must safeguard, because it could yield results. Because if you want me to say something when I see something, I have to trust you.
Yes, correct. That could be probably part of the genesis of mending that age-old understanding of the relationship between the police and the public.
Correct.
And from children age, from that age, understanding the nature of police, and maybe this is an opportunity for the police to rewrite the course
Yes.
on how we engaged, not only how we are engaged, but the relationship between police and humans, or citizens, I should say.
So now that we have made a gargantuous effort to perfect the environment, in some cases, I know it wouldn't be perfect. We could talk all day about what is not happening in school, to the physical conditions, to the start of the school term. Then I think in the next hour we'll get into it more with the callers. The more important question is what is happening in school. You know, just as we can't zero in on the uniform alone, we need to go in the book bag. We need to find out, or we need to explore what is happening in schools that will take us forward to the economy that we want, to the productivity that we want, because we realize that the values for that society that we envisage are sown in school. What are we teaching school children?
Exactly.
Come to school, sit down, pass the exam. Pass exam by all means necessary. I remember once a child, I asked him, because I teach languages, I said, where's your dictionary? And I was ready to punish him because it's on the book list. I said, where's your dictionary? Because it's a language, you can't do it without your dictionary. He said, sir, I have my phone, you know. And he is very correct.
Yes.
You see how mentally I had to make that adjustment?
Yeah. Use of technology.
But we have a love-hate relationship with the use of technology. Because some schools ban cell phones. Because of obvious reasons. Eh?
Yeah.
So, but can we ban technology? Should we ban technology, especially when we say we want to go in, where we want to go?
So it is as if we are chastising those who cling to technology to be able to solve problems, as opposed to those who try to just use the natural brain power and go the hard way to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to hear what the educational psychologist has to say about that.
Yes.
But I think if you have the technology to solve the problem, then use it. I mean, once it is there, it's like telling me that I had to learn some things in mathematics and chemistry and all that kind of thing that I may never ever use in my whole life as a professional.
Yeah.
Those are things that, you know, those are quagmires or dilemmas that we have to address in the education system.
Must. Because a cell phone can be a weapon, but it could be a tool.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
Yeah.
That is the truth. And most tools could be weapons. It's like the internet.
Yeah.
You could build a bomb from YouTube. But do you ban YouTube because it have how to build a bomb? Or you might have how to worship the devil. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But there are other, that's not all on YouTube, you know. You know that. I know you are YouTube University YouTube man.
Boy, I a YouTube man, but it has nothing better than YouTube.
Yes.
No, it has something better than YouTube that's giving even more accurate news than YouTube.
Right.
Rumble and all these sites, but
Yeah.
but YouTube is I pay for 4 different things. I pay for cable, Netflix,
Yes.
internet,
Yes.
and I only use internet when
Yes.
I home.
Yes.
Because internet is where I can get YouTube.
Yes.
I'm free
Yeah.
after internet.
Yeah.
So why don't we, I mean, why don't we, why don't we promote it as a place of learning also?
And you see, because we can't control it 100%. And in our neck of the woods, what we can't control, we like to ban.
Listen, I remember I saw my son studied medicine.
Yeah.
And he was doing his classes on YouTube.
Yeah.
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 He was doing his classes on YouTube. A lot of things he was doing was from what the lectures was on YouTube.
Yes.
So you could go on YouTube and study the same thing a doctor studying.
Yes.
And understand that, hey, their examine the quiz on that.
And the time to insert AI and technology education is now. We cannot have another 5 years and this be an election promise. By that time, we might have robots walking around the place.
They don't have robots walking around.
Yes,
So don't say
in
by
mass.
that time.
right? We might see
By
them.
that time, you might have flying cars more prevalent.
Correct.
And you wouldn't need subways and
Correct.
and rapid rail and thing again.
Yeah, we will be with
We
the
might know, we
Jetsons.
might be now thinking about that, but by that time you already have cars flying all over the
And
place.
technology puts you at the head of the game.
Yes, exactly.
If you need to get at the head of the game, if you want to make up for being a third world, and I keep telling you we're not third world because third is a high ranking. If you want to bridge the gap between development and underdevelopment, you have to invest in technology
Yeah.
because that brings you straight up. You know?
It has to be national strategy
Yeah.
as opposed to people just doing things, you know, who could buy it, and who, you know, it has to be a national strategy, national government strategy.
Yes.
To move the country from one place to the next.
And it has to be well thought out as other jurisdictions have had it. Because as I tell you, in I use my sibling as an example, all his students have this. But this is a tool.
And
Good.
not necessarily a place for game and that kind of thing.
No. And there's a cost state. And the parents know.
And that's in the US.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The parents know. So there's stringent measures to it. Good. It is tied to your taxes.
If you abuse it or you destroy it, well, then your parents have to pay for it.
You have to pay because the state not going to do it twice. And then with that now, as I said to you, you could go to the service providers with the internet for your children
Yeah.
and get internet because they needed to access school.
But I don't know if I don't even know if maybe if this is a suggestion that the because a small country.
Yeah.
If I am to envisage a country moving into the 21st century in the way we should be treating with it, I don't think internet should be. I think that should be a bill you have to worry about. That should be something free.
You know, I remember a visitor, a partner of mine, he came and he said, "Why you all locking Wi-Fi?"
Yeah.
I said, "What do you mean by that?" Well, I told them with my Wi-Fi passcode and you're shoo-shooing and you put a little, you know, we said, but what, why are you all doing that?
Yeah. Because it could finish. It could finish if somebody on my Wi-Fi full day. It would done.
So we really need to, getting back to the education issue, we really need to move the discussion into where we going with it. Where we going? We can talk about the hard issues, the hardware issues, and the buildings and the classrooms and all those physical things and the repairs. But what about the repairs up here?
Yeah, exactly.
What about the repairs to the syllabus? Where are we taking these children? What are the core values for this technologically driven society that we want to diversify? Good? Can you type? Can you code? What are the skills that this new worker must have in 2027 or 2030? Because these children just start school, right? So what are the skills you want these children to have and develop? And how come we're not developing tech geniuses? Are we introducing children too late to technology? Is technology still a bad thing in our books and our mouth because of pornography? Because that too is a reality. But is it because of those things we have discarded with technology, or we have a love-hate relationship? But education can't move in any other direction. It can't.
One sad thing is that when you check where the blockage is coming from, most of the time it's coming from the official source, government and that kind of thing. And you know, I was just in a space just before I came here where we were looking at where government workers, well, not government workers, state-run organization that spends billions at government. If you see where these people work, the environment, that the place where they function, I mean, it's not even fitting. You wouldn't have a private company and have your workers there. So sometimes it also concerns me how the value we place on our human resource.
Yeah.
And wanting them to do the same thing or to work, practically do magic, but not providing them with the necessary resources
Yes.
to be able to do so, including the where the work, the place of work,
Yes.
sick buildings, you know.
Yes,
you
and
know,
I
that
make
kind
no
of thing.
apologies for the assertion that when you have people who are leading policy of a certain age, and I don't discriminate with age,
Yeah.
but when you do when you did your PhD in 19 Hololo, before the internet was out, and you want to lead young people,
which is practically, and I'm saying practically obsolete.
yeah. Yeah,
No.
How you learned is obsolete.
Yeah,
Your
how you learn
methods.
is obsolete.
How
but
do you?
you still want to continue, and you still want them to call you doctor.
No.
And you know all that.
No,
kind of
no.
thing.
And how do
Crazy.
you lead education? How do you lead things like that? So we really have to find the right fit. But we're going to a break, a tea break. You're live on the Turn Empire. We'll see you after the break.
Yes.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Calling all choir. This is TNT's first gospel choir event of its kind. It's finally here. This is Divine Harmony. Choirs from all over the country will vie for over $250,000 in prizes. Semi-final round. The East-West Corridor. Saturday, September 20th. Central and South Trinidad. Saturday, September 27th. And Tobago. Saturday, October 4th. To register, call 719-9599. TNT. Get ready. This is Divine Harmony.
Everybody say that.
The #1 bookstore in Trinidad is having the biggest back-to-school sale for the holidays.
Shop at Sharon's Bookstore for the biggest back-to-school sale.
All your kindergarten, preschool,
primary, secondary school,
and tertiary education supplies at ridiculously low prices. Sharon's also carries a wide range of sneakers, socks, t-shirts, vests for girls and boys,
And much more items for school. So don't miss Sharon's back-to-school sale.
now on Eastern Main Road, San Juan, Tutapuna.
2 locations at Trin City Mall, ground level and first level. We're also open on Sundays from 8 a.m. Check us on Facebook for up-to-date info and promotions. Also, message us for a quick response.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM radio. Here my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Pay $1 down on higher purchase plans at Furniture Plus. Enjoy fast approval, low interest rates, and up to 36 months financing. Retirees, self-employed, and permanent employees apply today. Buy now, pay later with Furniture Plus credit plans. Conditions apply.
Trinidad and Tobago. The Big Deal Nation is calling you. For just $38.95, the KFC Big Deal Packs in 2 pieces of hot, crispy or original chicken, your favorite regular side, and a large drink. Now that's a real big deal. And don't forget, with every big deal you buy, you'll also score an exclusive signed poster from the King of Steam himself, Young Brother. So, rep your nation, rep your vibe, and lock in your big deal today. Big life, big vibe, big flavor. Only at KFC. It's finger-licking good. Craving the golden perfection of homemade fry bakes without the fuss? Lion Brand Fry Bake Mix, in its convenient, easy-to-use pouch, makes it incredibly simple. Just add water and yeast, mix, and fry for crispy fried bakes that are ready in minutes. Perfect for a quick snack. Our Fry Bake Mix helps you bring family and friends together around the table for a delicious meal. Share the flavor and create delicious memories with Lion Brand Fry Bake Mix. Lion Brand, the power behind our great taste traditions.
Tune in to The Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m. to 9:15 9:45 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 125 to 186 Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna. For the program, Health and Healing, merging the old with the new, with Mr. Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on the street, 919 FM.
Join the winning team with Pastor Alkaline John
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on the street 919 FM as he talks about Lviv, the power of 5 fruits, one of the most powerful antioxidant supplements on the market today. The 5 superfruits in Lviv are mangosteen, acai, pomegranate, goji, and nuni. These fruits have a positive and profound impact on human health performance and disease. Join him as he gives live testimonials of the Lviv healing powers. To get more information, you can contact Pastor Alkaline John at 516-286-7079, or you can visit his webpage at www.alkalinejohn.com. Remember,
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on the street 919 FM.
Achieve risen baked goods every time with Lion brand baking powder. Our convenient, easy-to-use pouch ensures freshness and makes measuring a breeze. From cakes to cookies, Lion brand baking powder is your secret ingredient for the best results. Imagine the smiles as you share your delicious homemade creations with family, friends, and neighbors. Baking is about more than just food. It's about creating memories. Choose Lion brand baking powder and bake up some sweet moments. Lion brand, the power behind our great taste traditions.
The Embassy Yacht is back and ready to transform your events into unforgettable experiences. Launched from Kings Wharf, San Fernando, the perfect starting point for an epic experience of luxury, music, and celebration on the open water. By booking our vessel, your event will include a house DJ, state-of-the-art sound system, fully stocked bar, dedicated cleaning crew, top-notch security. This isn't just a venue, it's a floating masterpiece designed to make your event the talk of the town. Imagine your guests dancing under the stars, drinks in hand, with breathtaking views of the coastline as your backdrop. From birthdays to corporate events to exclusive parties, the Embassy Yacht offers promoters a unique platform to create unforgettable memories and boost your brand's reputation. Call or WhatsApp 399-5959 or email embassycruises@gmail.com.
Are you ready to elevate your baking game? Try Lion brand self-rising flour, now in our convenient and eco-friendly pouch packaging. With just the right balance of flour and baking powder, our self-rising flour takes the guesswork out of baking. Whether you're whipping up fluffy pancakes for the kids or baking a delicious cake for that special occasion, Lion brand self-rising flour helps you create not just food, but connections that bring people together. Bake more, worry less, and share the goodness. Lion brand, the power behind our great taste traditions.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
So we're back, callers. We're back on the Street 91.9 FM. I'm here with my umpire, Matheson. And we're discussing education and the kinks and the different things that seem to still plague this education system. And we touched on the use of technology, or the abuse of technology, or the non-use of technology, or the fear of technology. I don't know. You see a man with a cell phone and you have to run now because you don't know if you're taking a video. You don't know if you'll end up on TikTok, you know. So we somehow have this fear of technology and the use of technology. However, we have discussed vastly that the education system cannot transform or reform without it. It's all talk.
Some people obviously see cell phone in schools as disruptive.
Yeah.
It is to an extent if you didn't probably have the right kind of policies for its usage.
Yes.
even in the workplace to some extent,
Yes.
it becomes a disruptive.
It can become like
element. But what we want to hear what you have to say regarding it and how we can probably transform it to productive pursuits, productive means in the school system.
Good question. Cell phone in schools. Positive, negative, leave it off, because we see all these school fights, right? We see these children taking their glory shots at each other, and who putting up who according to them, and making memes for this person, and they say throwing status. They teach me that the other day. So she chose status for me. I say, wow.
What that is?
That means that I put up something on my status. That is like throwing shade for you.
Yeah.
Why doing it on my phone? And you getting a headache.
Yeah. So you catching feelings.
US. On my phone. And that causing big fight. So
you know that word catching feelings.
Catching feelings, correct.
You catching feelings, so why put
let's engage the caller. We have a caller. Caller, good day.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Yes, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. Matheson.
Good afternoon.
And is Ronaldo Rollins?
Yeah, Rolex.
Mr. Rolex. And good afternoon also to Miss Sandy Ford, wherever she might be.
Yes.
Just to answer the question first, cell phones in school, that's the topic?
Yes. We talk about technology, we just use cell phones.
Technology as an example, yeah.
Yes.
Cell phones in school, no problem whatsoever with it. It is a form of communication. Parents might definitely better understand the need and the assistance that a direct line of communication with their child or children could be helpful. So absolutely no problem. With anything, is how you use it. So for example, if you in class, the teacher teaching, and you on your phone below the desk thinking you're smart,
yeah,
obviously not. You deserve to have your phone confiscated,
yes,
and reported to your parents without a doubt.
Yes.
But if you have your phone in your pocket responsibly, when you're on your break time, when you're on your lunch time, you're free to check it. Or you just have it and
yeah.
But could you
responsibility
leave that,
with anything.
Could you leave that up to the students though?
Sure.
Huh?
I think I hear Mr. Matheson, but I'm not hearing him clearly.
Right. Could you leave that up to the students though to make the decision as to how it's used?
Great question, sir. Great question. The school has to set the guidelines. So, as might have been expressed just now there, explicitly, cell phones are allowed in school, but they are not to be used during class time. So in the morning before class starts, you're free to be on your phone. Break time, lunch time, after school, you're free to be on phone. For emergency purposes only.
Then if you can't use it during class time, what's the real value of you having it on you, on your person in school?
Okay, let's give an example. You now remind me that in the technology age, from our conversation last week and now, some schools have for quite some time embraced a new platform of teaching. So they have online platforms, and in class you're allowed to be on your phone and access the online platform. So that's one. But even outside of that, if you say where's the real value, let me ask you back a question. If I am your child, let's just say for example, and normally you pick me up on Tuesday for football practice or music lessons, and your supervisor call you and say, and I would like you to help with, I like your help a little later. Being able to call me and say, son, daughter, I'm running a little later than usual today. You know what I mean? Anything. So let's answer that question. But my little one other contribution is, technology is how we use it. You could be in your room right now, and with your television or your radio, persons violating your privacy. When you're on your online banking, anything, they're monitoring your personal information. If you're on YouTube, anything you do, they could be stalking your information and attempting to build a certain mindset of how to approach it, how to address it. So with anything, is how we use it, you know, and we as citizens individually, we need to know what we are about. You know, standing up for the right thing isn't always easy, but you have to believe in what you believe in. I hope I answer all your questions. I don't want to take too long.
Yeah.
Anything else you might like to ask Mr. Matheson?
No.
We're fine. Thanks, caller.
Blessings. I will continue to listen.
Yes.
The thing is,
he didn't address the technology issue, though,
the technology
because he's still talking about the phone being used to communicate. We have a next caller. Caller, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. This is Granny.
Yes, Granny, good evening.
Good morning, this is the program.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to send a message for the Commissioner of Police.
Yes.
I love that man and his work.
Yes.
I love Mr. Alexander.
Yes.
I love the Attorney General, and I love those police officers working hard.
Yes.
God bless all you. Granny love all you. Granny is a worker and always straightforward. God bless all you, man. God bless all you. God bless this new government too.
Okay.
And all you thanks for this time.
All right. Thanks, Granny. Blessings, or we always receive blessings. We're thankful for the blessings, Granny, and especially for the people who are okay. We have another caller. Caller, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Umpire.
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
Mr. Congratulations to the government. I am Mr. Short yesterday, the highest school repairs at all Wamakota School today in history. We congratulate the government for that.
Yes. So
that's a step in the right direction right now.
In the right direction.
But the policing in the school, right?
Right.
You see, the police in the school with guns and things, they could be outside the school in the vehicle around, because remember majority of them school in high-risk communities too, you know.
Right.
So I find that's a little plus too, because it's a trying coming to learn from sacrificing for them to go to school.
Right.
And tell the worthless one trying to some buggy training coming to learn.
Correct.
So the schools are feeling, let me be real, in we community, PNM community, they got to flip the circle, them going on that 30%, you know.
Right.
So I hope everything work out nice for them, train them down there, and all go to school and learn and do the right thing. We play hard, and mommy and daddy sacrifice hard.
Yes.
To make sure they go to school and learn the right thing.
Yes.
Bless.
Thank you. Well, the truth is, I mean, that is, I know he wasn't talking about that. There are 30%ers all over the country, to be honest. The demographic, they might be highly concentrated in one particular area, but it's a spread all over the country. You hear teachers all over talking about these under 30%ers. So that's one. I guess he did comment. The calls are fast and furious today. Good afternoon, caller.
Yeah, good afternoon, the umpires.
Yes, good afternoon,
Mr. Rollins and Mr. Matheson. Guys, I hope you guys had a good weekend.
Yes.
I see you guys looking fresh and sharp. So
we're trying.
Yeah, so and Mr. Rollins, you're so correct, because this template that the government following is from Florida.
Yes.
And let me use the politically correct term. We're not police officer, it's school safety officers.
Yes.
Well, we have school safety officers already.
Yes, so that's why
so that's why we say police officer, because these police officers are in uniform.
Yes.
Right. So these are real police officers in the school.
Mr. Matheson, I'm not hearing you too well, Mr. Matheson.
I'm saying that we already have safety officers, school safety officers in the school,
who are not police officers,
right? Who are not police officers. This is police. These are police officers in uniform in the school. So when we talk about police, the policing in the school, that's what we're talking about. These police officers in the school, actually.
And you know them, the same school security officers, they have the powers to arrest to in case of damages to school property, aggressive behavior. But when you do the arrest, you have to consult directly, instantaneously to the district school manager.
Yeah.
Right? So that come like maybe the Minister of Education in Trinidad.
Yeah.
And for the technology, we know the kids and them like to be on TikTok and the kids and them use the technology. But what we had to do, we had to try to incorporate, let them learn, let me do things in school with the TikTok.
Yeah.
For classes against classes, you know, football, promote farming, promote, and let them put it up on the TikTok, you know, and the other part with the technology, you have to start to let people understand, the children especially, that technology is more than just posting a dance video.
Yes.
Gradually, we have to start to teach them about learning.
Yes.
You know, I remember when I was going primary school, they used to have some kind of radio program we used to listen to on a Friday. They used to tell a story, right?
Okay.
And it's something that we need to put in the curriculum with this, showing the positives and the negatives of social media. And start educating kids from primary school going up. So they will know, and they will know that there's more. You see, let me tell you, the AI, Mr. Matheson and Mr. Rollins, you know that. You know you could have a deep conversation with AI?
Yes.
You could.
Yes, we know.
And it's very scary what the AI does be saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these are things where children don't know the power of the technology, and this is where we had to incorporate in school, you know. And you see, we could tell them don't be on social media and don't do TikTok, but we had to use TikTok to our advantage.
Yes.
And this is where to attract the students and them to start to think differently. And as I say, interclass competition.
Yes.
Make it a group, put a leader, put people to do advertising, put people to do, and teach them
yes
the way how to do things. So I want to hear what the Trinidadians have to say. But always a Trinidadian, but you know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So the caller is talking about the need to embrace technology, but we are very hesitant to embrace things that we fear and we can't control. Next caller. Caller, good afternoon. Caller, good afternoon. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah.
Yes.
My view is that no phones during class time.
Right.
It is the reason why we have textbooks.
Right.
So in order to follow the bus and to have a proper understanding and discipline, we need to use the textbooks and not use the phones.
Right.
Because children can be distracted with the phones and do things that they ought not to during that time, and then this is why we have a low success rate. So we need to look at things now from that perspective, that how we could use what we have now.
Yes.
What we know about that exists in other jurisdictions, and what can we adopt now that will benefit the children.
Correct.
As far as the policing is concerned,
yes,
I don't want the police patrolling. I want the police to be there to respond when there is something.
Yes.
And at the same time, also is that the PTA and the school authority must come into play to deal with disciplining and also for remedial work for that.
Yes.
My view is that one of the major reasons that why they have school violence is that a lot of the children didn't pass, but they were given a place in the school. So they're not ready for secondary school. And some of them come from certain communities where the attitude is a particular way, where psychologists can actually recognize that and deal with them before and do remedial things before they are accommodated into the schools. A few things for us to think about. Okay, have a good day.
Thank you, caller. Thank you for your contribution. The caller was more on the side of police being around and not in the school. He did talk about the cell phones being a distraction. That we know. It doesn't tell us how we use the technology though. I know from a practical reason, Mr. Matheson, it does create some problems because when you're dealing with theft of cell phone, you have big fight, you know. Remember, parents would have spent the money.
It does.
To buy a certain type of phone. Good. And you give it to your child and somebody steal it, and that doesn't end nice.
But the discussion, I mean, I want to, and you would have started earlier on in the show, the segment before this.
Yes.
Where we spoke about the need for the understanding of the use of technology in school.
Correct.
And how it could assist, right? So I think what we instead of saying no, what we should be looking at how to either curtail the misuse of it.
Correct.
And embrace the technology, because as we talk about YouTube and we talk about all the other things in the learning process.
Correct.
So it's either and there are ways you could do it. I mean, you could give students time away from the teaching time to research things and to go and come up with your understanding of how to build this or how to do this, and make a presentation. There are different ways you could use it.
Yes.
So I think because they do it at university, and I'm not seeing any reason why we can't start probably weaning children off that whole school books thing or textbook thing, and you buying books really for reference, right? As opposed to the total this 99 books in a bag.
Yes.
And you're going to school and you don't even want to see it when you reach home.
Yes.
So I don't know what we could do to really solve that, but that certainly is a challenge for not just teachers and things, but for students.
Yeah, and again, you're right. The kinks with the technology should not make us avoid it.
Yes,
because it's where the sector is going. The president is on the line. Let me hear what the president has to say. Good afternoon, Mr. President.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
We are fine. I'm fine.
Right. Mr. Ronaldo
yes.
And Mr. Stephen.
Yes.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. Topic go down in the same line, hold it to the education, that good, as the first day of school. And the last two programs went down well. This one also went down well, and asking the question of the cell phones in school. You can't stop it,
Right.
You might just come out straight and bold face.
Yes.
But big me at my age after 65. One time I used to say, but me and Bumper no set a cell phone, but Papa, it gets so useful now that the consciousness I going over the whole with my program and so forth, is that necessary? I would like to know everybody getting the program, so you find that it is that necessary that you really can't stop it. But what I will say, it have plenty kind that always say take data. Is how good that popping up a lot in my mind when I observe, because and then today in a program I hearing that really everything is being recorded in places where we may not know, like in America, everything is being recorded. So why everything is not being recorded here through data and able to datarize children of all the qualities in school and knowing what you want. It look like a child home.
Well, Mr. President,
you would monitor him from baby now to find out what he likes, what interests him.
Yes.
And help him in that. It's about the same similar thing that I want to say with the phone. And according to how you're teaching, get the children interested into data and knowing where they're at. As long as you could know where they're at, then you could keep a control, you could keep a consciousness on them, so you could know through data, you know what to expect from them. So far,
yes,
in school, you know what to expect. Because as I said today in other program, remember, children on the streets, or like your children, your neighbor children, plenty children that you'll be seeing, when they're not in school clothes, they are a different person to than when they're in school clothes,
Correct.
And you don't know them when they're on the street. They might be holding a gun in the street, but you don't know they're holding a gun while they're in school. And you understand that because you understand what our system is as private.
Yes.
So about all I could say this so far to all your educators on school could put the thing together and all yourself just talk about the data. And that is a different thing that in not only in school, that data running supposed to be all over the country right now.
Yes.
Because because the way how it is right now, everything is being needed to be recorded in the labor, in the education, in all the different 12 ministries, as I would say 12 ministries to what I put down, but you have more than that ministries in the in Trinidad and Tobago. So I think data, getting into the internet seriously, and these governments and them and these hierarchy people who know what's supposed to be done, but they they hadn't built it.
Right.
Like it's building how the money you see and the capitalism, something they want to keep we where we are. So they don't keep to do these things because they would lose plenty of what they have if they're changing.
All right,
look at it good.
No problem. Thanks, Percy.
Thanks, Mr. Percy.
Hold it long and listen to it. And that is a very serious thing that we have in this WW internet all over the world right now. Data is important.
All right. Thanks, Percy.
But just to answer Mr. President Cole, he's correct. Big data is important. Big data is, we contribute to big data, by the way, and without even knowing it, we contribute to big data every time we put on our television, every time we go on our cell phones, everything, AI, everything learns off of that. It's just that we haven't been able to monetize it.
Yes.
We are not the one monetizing it. You have China and the US to some extent, the two who are in the race, the AI race, they are monetizing it to a large extent. But we are contributing to it in very, very significant ways and in ways we don't even know. Right? Everything, correct. Everything is being recorded. Everything we see on our phone, don't get fooled with our WhatsApp thing and encrypted and all that kind of thing. Everything, every keystroke you make on your phone and that kind of thing is monitored. Hence the reason why you could have things like DeepSeek and you could have all the AI software and that kind of thing. They learn from us.
Yes.
Everything we say, that's how they learn. That's how they gather the information. So yeah, it is important. The only thing is that we haven't found a way to monetize it in the way it should be monetized for our use in Trinidad and Tobago.
Correct. Again. Caller, good afternoon.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
I listened to you all speaking and I want to ask a question. With the police officers being in our nation's schools, in high-risk schools, as they call them, what will be the role of the NPS security going forward?
Well, their role was never the role of the police. Their role was always to protect the property, the school as a property, and not.
Hold on. That's not. So you're saying to me, NPS was to protect the property.
Yes, it was always to do that, not to protect the students in any way. That was never MTS mandate.
So these officers now is to protect the students.
Well,
what are you saying?
Well, according to what we hear from the Prime Minister and the police and that kind of thing, they had to bring to encourage or to foster certain kind of discipline in the school.
I listen all how. I listen everybody. Vera, Alexander, Jola. No? And I ain't get a clear picture of this thing. None of them, everybody giving you a different, like they're just suggesting. You understand? Because up to now they ain't telling me those officers will be armed in school. I listen them just to hear something concrete and they leave behind. You understand?
Well, I could tell you from what I saw today, they are armed.
They are armed?
Yes, they're armed.
Okay, all right. Well, at least you saw that.
Yes.
Okay? So you said to me that the MTS security was to protect the building, and the police that they have now is for the students. That is it?
Yeah, from we're saying from what we see, you know, they will have different details, you know, when their contracts. I don't have the MTS contract in front of me where I could, you know, but we have heard it said traditionally that plant is their specialty, you know. Now, that not saying that plant is more than important than person, but person is different. That's a different type of security that you provide for person, and that is maybe more along the police line, and well, secondary schools have safety officers.
Okay, so another last I want to go. The other thing is this. These school that is deemed high risk school, you think people will be signing up the children for those schools anymore? When the children do SCA?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's why the minister said the list of schools with these people assigned wasn't published because of the stigma. But you know, my own view is that we have scarce number of schools anyway. But you're correct. It may work in this type of society in a negative way. So it was maybe a good idea as well. I mean, not to publish it. But your concern is a valid concern.
Yeah, because if I sign up my granddaughter when she do exam next year, them school and them they always high risk. I not going down them school for she.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So, but thanks for the little information.
But you know, I mean, that's a good question. The thing is, you don't really. Okay, so children, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you are in the system. What if do you have a say as to what school you go to, as much as the marks you make in SCA is? Do you have a say? Because if you might want to go to XYZ school because you might feel like it's not a high risk school, but if your child didn't make the marks that is attributed to going to that school, you're not going to go down to that marking thing.
No, but what the caller is saying is important. Because
that marking thing in the exam don't work so, you know.
Yeah.
No.
What you're saying, caller, is very important, because what he's saying, therefore, because there may be stigmas associated with these typical schools or deemed high risk,
you wouldn't want to send your children there?
The demand for the other schools going to be much higher than usual, because you hear school number 1, 2, 3 had police, those are high risk. So the 6 other schools that exist going to be oversubscribed.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good?
Thank you.
So that, therefore, is a problem that is going to be faced.
Because if it was just about putting, so I live in Port of Spain, naturally I should get to go St. Mary's, Fatima, QRC, St. George's College.
Remember, we have religion in this, so
right. So St. George's College, Convent.
Yeah.
Naturally I should be going to school there.
If the issue is geography.
Right. So if it is not geography, and it is not nothing else you're thinking, then
so when you tell a parent that they're entitled to go to a school within a certain mile radius, and they living on the bridge, they should really be ending up in one of those schools
you're talking about
in Borders Way.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work so in practice. Let me answer this call. Caller, good afternoon. Caller, good afternoon.
The umpires, are you guys hearing me?
Yes.
Well, you guys travel all over the world, right? So you know Newark in New York, right?
Yes.
And you know Newark was one of the worst schooling areas they had, right?
No, we don't know that, so edify us. Tell us.
Right, so the violence and drugs and children are doing good. And they implemented the same thing in that school. And now that district is one of the best districts in America.
Yeah.
You see, we talking about police officers and all of this. And we now speak about something very important when you call us data. And Mr. Mattinson says also. But how can you collect data if you don't actually do it?
Correct. So you need to do it.
You can pull data out of the air. You see, this is a thing that they will get consultation from America. They will get consultation maybe from Canada. They will get consultation maybe from the UK.
Yeah.
And it's a learning process, and the data will follow through, and they will show results. All right. And just one more thing before I leave. Look at, since America ships across there, do you be hearing again in Trinidad? Do these criminals just fire shots willy-nilly because they know why? The ammunition is scarce. Because not coming in.
Yeah.
I don't know that to be so, but if
and this is data we collected.
Yeah,
you know. Go ahead. I cannot delay. Sorry about that.
No. You go ahead, caller. You're the caller. You make your point.
All right, and before I leave, so we see the reduction in this firing of your shots willy-nilly. Look, the money is sanctioned off from CPEP, from outside there. They start back kidnapping because they need to get that money, because whoever they owe to pay for wherever they take, they have to pay it back. So they have to go back to measures now. So all this is data. So all right, guys, look on this then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I am for the effort. And it's just like the same thing with technology. You have to do it, collect the data, and then move forward. What we try to do is hocus pocus and scare people out of doing something and then do nothing. That's what we perfect in. Doing nothing. You have to do it. Do it, track it, capture it, record it, study it, and then have the discussion on it. But you don't get to, boy, that might, the children might do this, and all those things are, as any serious society doesn't do that. They do the research. Then they run a trial test. If it's working good, you expand it. If it's not working, you pull it. Good? But it is also true, or it may be also true, that when parents hear that those schools have police officers, meaning the safety in that school is a little more safe, they may want to send their children to that school.
This is why I was thinking that
it can work in the opposite as well, because I would think so as a parent, because I understand the realities of this society.
Especially if I feel my child have a propensity to act in a certain way.
I send in your day.
I want you to go.
That's exactly where you're going. Because I want it to be protected. I want it to feel safe. I hear that it's one of the safest schools around. Good. They might be known for any other big hoorah, but that is something that we may want to consider.
But children and decisions of parents shouldn't be determined by how safe the school is or anything like that. That shouldn't even be a data point, criteria. But the reality is what it is, and it just ends that those are the circumstances we are faced with today.
Again, because we have made schools and education a capitalist commodity. So we cannot assure that all schools function the same way, get the same amount of resources. So I want my child to go to good school, and I don't care about your child who could go to bad school. We have these distinctions.
In fact, I glorify that.
Yes. We have these distinctions and these labels, unfortunately. Let me see this caller. Caller, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm Pelma by again in Cherry. Today is the first day of school, right?
Yes.
And the children go back out to school. I see the opposition leader there, Wakain. What message she really sent to the children anyway?
Explain Wakain.
They close down CPEP and Irapi.
Right.
But more than forest, they cut grass. So the problem is first she cutting grass too, So she telling the younger generation, or you can go to school and learn to come and cut grass. But what message are trying to tell the younger generation? CPEP and Irapi, that's the lowest paid in the job. I want to try and go to school. And don't fall in the footsteps if your mother and father cutting grass, because your father and mother sacrifice it to get the best education and improve yourself and be better than cutting grass and working CPAP and URP. Okay. You always stop playing with the tree and fruit and trying to cut grass and work URP and CPAP. Now, man, they always be playing this first crowd. I look to understand.
I didn't see the clip, or I didn't know of the situation you're talking about, so I wouldn't really comment too much on that.
It was a way that how some people live and some people earn a living to be able to send the children to school and that kind of thing. Not everybody.
And it was a legitimate way.
It was a legitimate way of earning a living. So everybody wouldn't be garbage collectors or sanitation engineers. Everybody wouldn't be doctors, lawyers. You know, it's a stratified society.
And we remember the bowling side, bowling to get people out. At the end of the day, we would like them to bowl better. And bowl, but at the end of the day, they take that pelting stone, pelting ball thing very seriously. As you always say, they are very good in opposition. You good? So don't expect any kind of a slow bowling in the wicket.
Let them bowl the ball, man.
Let them bowl the ball.
The batting side just had to be prepared to bat.
Yes. Caller, good afternoon.
Hey, sorry. Yeah, just making a brief contribution. You know, we having good conversations on this platform. Very important, contributing towards promoting a positive mindset. So, all well and good. And the unfortunate reality is, as you might have said, Mr. Relax, some persons, unfortunately, they have a mindset if they can control something or someone, they try to hinder your progress. That is an unfortunate reality, but we can't allow that to stop continuity. You know, so we use technology as an example, but anything at all, I was thinking, you know, if you say liquid paper, somebody could use liquid paper the wrong way. Some students could probably use like rulers to play sword fighting on their break time. So do you ban rulers, which is a stationary? You know what I mean? So it's just about implementing the proper laws and management. And I mean,
correct.
We have a lot of potential in Trinidad, and as Mr. Matheson would say, we need to embrace potential, embrace creativity. Yeah? So that's my brief contribution. Keep up the good work, guys. Listening.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Caller, good day.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you very much for taking the call.
Yes, definitely. Sorry about that.
Now, I know you all mentioned that in other countries they have officers in schools, but like in America, those are SROs.
Right.
Which is school resource officers.
Right.
They are not so much to control the violence of the children as so much protect the children from external sources.
Correct.
So, apart from that, what we are having here now with the children violence, I think what we need to do is, as we already talking about some parents and then we have like children or whatever, I think we need to change the way how we educate.
Right.
Because what is the school supposed to be doing for children? What was the purpose of schools for children? It was supposed to prepare them for the future.
Yeah.
True or false?
Yes, especially for the world of work.
Good. Well, this is a problem because instead of preparing them for the future, they have no longer taught them how to think as what is calling critical thinking.
Yes.
But robotic behavior.
Yes.
So you move when the bell, you gather when the bell, you sit and still, you do all your work, and when the bell rings, you leave. which is a mimic of what you have to do when you start working.
Yes.
You obey the teacher, you obey the boss. And it's the same, all they're doing is preparing you to be a robot. Not to think, what is the last great invention have we seen in this world?
Last great invention? Ship.
There's no invention. We have redos of what we already have.
You mean any word?
And modifications.
You mean any word?
But nothing new invented.
Really?
Because why? We are not teaching critical thinking.
You mean in
So
Trinidad?
children are not thinking for themselves. There is no new ideas, new concept. It's robotics. And it's teaching them how to make robotics. They're teaching them how to behave as robots. So therefore, you are easily replaceable in whatever function you find yourself when you leave the school. But to teach them to invent, teach them to think, there is nothing like that. And this is a big thing. Also, for children, they don't teach them economics on how best ideas to do with something called economic cost, knowing what is the better way to spend your money so you don't waste it on frivolous things. And to teach people proper parenting and proper home economics in format of knowing how many children that you should try to have based on what you take, your resources that you have available.
Yes.
And these are things we need to teach children so that we don't continue on this crazy scenario that we are, where you have people barely able to support themselves, now having 3, 4, 5, 6 children to support.
But Colin,
and then the children get left back.
Colin, let me ask you a question there, because I am in agreement with all that you said. Do you think we can achieve all that you've suggested void of technology? Could we continue to have a love-hate relationship with technology and make that big quantum leap and that big jump?
You're asking the wrong person as an IT person.
Right.
So I will always say yes. We need technology.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm into.
Right.
Right? Now, the thing about it is, apart from technology, you have to know how to use it and apply it properly.
Correct.
Because just having it will make no sense.
Yes.
So you have to teach the parents what is the purpose for it and how to utilize and develop their lives in a form that it will become useful to them.
Yes.
Because when you have, as I said, right now you mentioned about your father was making $1,100.
Yes.
Look at the age and time ago was that.
Yes.
But you know, it still have people in these days with 5 children making $1,100. How they're making up?
Wow.
There are people working here, sir. What's the salary for CPEP workers? What's the salary for those young girls working in those cloth stores?
Right.
Or clothing stores? What's the salary? Compared to what $1,100 could have done in those days, 4,000 can't even reach half of that. So just think about what is happening with parents nowadays. Single mothers having to raise 4 children, no husband, and working for $4,000, $5,000. How that working out? So we need to start teaching them how to plan their life better.
Yes.
And how to utilize their finances better. Because we will continue on this merry-go-round.
Yeah.
Non-stop.
Yes.
And we will end up in the same place that we started, spinning top in mud. We have schooling that it doesn't teach you, prepare you for the future. It prepares you for the past because, as I mentioned before, while the plane looks tremendously different than it did 100 years ago, a plane looks tremendously different than it did 100 years ago. And everything, every other mode of transport and different things that we have looks different than 100 years ago. The schoolroom looks like it did 1,000 years ago. So how can we prepare children for the future when we teaching them in the past?
Thank you.
Have a nice.
Well said.
And so the caller touched on a number of things.
Yes.
That needs addressing.
Yes.
And but clearly, he said he's an IT person.
Yes.
So clearly, he's talking the same language we are talking, because we would have gone to universities, and not too long ago we were in universities also, and so we'd have gone in some cases repeated times, and we saw where education is going.
Yeah.
We saw smart boards, we saw teaching without textbooks.
Yes.
We saw all those things, right? Textbooks are usually reference material. You should be thinking of writing your own textbook based on your experience and how you solve problems and that kind of thing. But more than that, the system of how you interact with technology in school should be addressed.
Yes.
Because we are not, we seem to be moving, we seem to be our movement seems to be regressive rather than going forward.
Yes.
And to a large extent, that has to do with sometimes we chuck it down to resources, not the unavailability of resources. But as I was having a discussion today, if simple things like simple infrastructure, we were talking about how do we rationalize without money getting the kind of productivity through infrastructure, roads and that kind of thing. And if you just critically think, and there are persons around the world, countries around the world that are willing to help you.
Yes.
Figure those things out.
Yeah.
You can do that. Do both of them.
We don't have to invent it.
You don't have to invent it.
No.
So, for instance, just to veer a little bit off this topic.
Yeah.
For instance, we were talking about super highways and cars and rapid rail and trains and that kind of thing, and how easy it might be to do that without money.
Yeah.
There are countries who will design those things for you, build it, finance it, and run it, operate it, right? What if you allow them to do that? What happens? You get the benefits of that. You get is productivity. You get ease of doing business. You get a lot of things working faster and better for you, and you move into a different realm, societal satisfaction and that kind of thing. But at the same time, so you don't have to pay for it because it's paying for itself.
Yes.
Right? It's paying for itself with the ease at which you do business. It's paying for itself with the productivity you get from it, the money you save from it, all that set of hours on the road and that kind of thing, especially now that school open, right? The time you lose, you're paying for it that way, and you're paying for it by saving on that. So we had to start to think different and start to think, because we're not in a, you see, what those who embrace what the philosophy of, say, the US and thing, the US and some of these places will tell you is to go to the World Bank and the IMF, and you don't have to go to that. I mean, it have places, they will, you will be paying perpetually, you'll be paying, you can't even don't pay the interest in this lifetime.
Yes.
Right? But I'm saying it have places in the world, you have initiative, you know about the Belt and Road Initiative, China, they will do that for you in a wink.
Yes.
Very quickly, and in a way that you can live after to do it. So these are things, all these are things that we could think about, and in the same way we could think about education and how we could revolutionize the education system and what it would mean for us technology-wise and that kind of thing. So that I mean, I say a lot there. Maybe I could take one more call before
and you're right, it's under a minute, so I wouldn't take the call. Callers will take calls after the break. We're going to a break, and that's why I'm not taking the call, because we're going to a break now. We're just under a minute here, so please call us after the break. But you're right, we have to move the conversation forward. We do have to reinvent the wheel. There are things that there are prototypes. I was looking at China again, where a lot of these things is a school project.
Yeah.
Simple. You don't have to know. You ask those little children, how do we solve this? And some child or somebody is going to have the solution for you. You get them a prize, shake a hand, and then you go implement. And so you don't have to know everything.
You develop a prototype, and then next thing you know, we have a solution.
So we'll see you after the break. Last hour, I'm going to question Mr. Madison on probation.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Tell a Friend Charlo Farm is bringing all the flavor with none of the inconvenience. We offer dehydrated pimento flakes, shadow benny and signature seasoning, blend with garlic, ginger, thyme, pimento, shadow benny. All ingredients are locally green and feature additives, preservatives or added sodium, and with a shelf life of 2 years once stored properly. You cannot go wrong. Call us at 763-0992. That's 763-0992. Flavor your pot with Charlo Farm. Transform your soups and stews with the rich flavor of Lion Brand Split Peas Powder. Packaged in a handy, easy-to-use pouch. It's never been simpler to add depth and nutrition to your meals. Whether it's a cozy family dinner or a small line with close friends, Lion Brand Split Peas Powder helps you create delicious dishes that bring people closer. Elevate your cooking and share the goodness with those you love. Lion Brand, the power behind our great taste traditions.
Calling all choir. This is TNT's first gospel choir event of its kind. It's finally here. This is Divine Harmony. Choirs from all over the country will vie for over $250,000 in prizes. Semi-final round. The East-West Corridor. Saturday, September 20th. Central and South Trinidad. Saturday, September 27th. And Tobago. Saturday, October 4th. To register, call 719-9599. TNT. Get ready. This is Divine Harmony.
Everybody say that. Trinidad and Tobago. The Big Deal Nation is calling you. For just $38.95, the KFC Big Deal Packs in 2 pieces of hot, crispy or original chicken, your favorite regular side, and a large drink. Now that's a real big deal. And don't forget, with every big deal you buy, you'll also score an exclusive signed poster from the King of Steam himself, Young Brother. So, rep your nation, rep your vibe, and lock in your big deal today. Big life, big vibe, big flavor. Only at KFC. It's finger-licking good.
Don't miss Furniture Plus Inventory Blowout Sale. Get up to 65% off in-store and online. Enjoy massive savings on furniture, appliances, and more. Hurry, this deal won't last. Shop now and save big at Furniture Plus.
Planning your Tobago getaway? Choose the highest Google-rated car rental company on the island, O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago. Located just minutes from the A&R Robinson International Airport, at O'Neill, we pride ourselves on being the most tech-savvy car rental company in Tobago. Our process is 100% digital. No paperwork, no long lines. From easy pickup to seamless returns, renting a car in Tobago has never been simpler. WhatsApp us now at 1-868-361-1042 to book your vehicle. Don't forget to mention promo code RADIO2 to receive a 5% discount on your rental. Send a WhatsApp message to 1-868-361-1042 today. That's 1-868-361-1042. 361-1042. O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago. The easiest, most reliable car rental experience on the island.
Vehicle availability is subject to change. Driver must be at least 25 years old and have a valid driver's license to book. For more information, visit www.rentalcartobago.com.
Light up your weekends at Vibes Nightclub, Tobago's hottest spot. 3 epic nights of music and energy await every Thursday. Karaoke Thursdays. Kick off at 8 p.m. with free entry. Grab the mic, unleash your inner star, and sing all night. Beers on special for $10, 2 Campari for $25, and giveaways for the best singers. Every Friday, Limers Fridays. Kick off at 8 p.m. with free entry. Vibes with your crew and enjoy beers on special for $10, 2 Campari for $25, and 2 White Oak for $25. Every Saturday, Raw Saturdays. Everything goes, nothing but good vibes. Free entry and an all-star DJ cast to bring the vibes. Vibes Nightclub is where Tobago shines. Join us Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for music, fun, and unforgettable nights. Don't miss out. Your weekend starts at Vibes.
The Gap Man Limited specializes in products that cater to all your health needs. The Male Enhancement Package targets the areas of the body that contribute to erectile dysfunction. The Male Enhancement costs $1,400. The Gap pills are priced at 250 pills for $500 and 500 pills for just $900. For the best in eye care, get the super combination of a Super Bright and the Body Healer. To improve the heart's function and circulation, get the Gap pills and Formula C. To get a total body cleanse daily, use the Gap Body Healer and Big C, all for a super low price of $1,300. To order your products from the Gap Man Limited, call 628-4531 for products that cater to all your health needs.
For more info, contact 476-7268.
The Embassy Yacht is back and ready to transform your events into unforgettable experiences. Launched from King's Wharf, San Fernando, the perfect starting point for an epic experience of luxury, music, and celebration on the open water. By booking our vessel, your event will include a house DJ, state-of-the-art sound system, fully stocked bar, dedicated cleaning crew, top-notch security. This isn't just a venue, it's a floating masterpiece designed to make your event the talk of the town. Imagine your guests dancing under the stars, drinks in hand, with breathtaking views of the coastline as your backdrop. From birthdays to corporate events to exclusive parties, the Embassy Yacht offers promoters a unique platform to create unforgettable memories and boost your brand's reputation. Call or WhatsApp 399-5959 or email embassycruises@gmail.com.
New celebration, what's the occasion? CPL playing, fresh new season, same great flavor. Now that the fans begun, we gonna crush it all. KFC for the CPL. Who will rise, maybe time will tell. Wake up, rise up, stand up. CPL time, let me chase that crunch. Yeah.
Chase the crunch with KFC and TKR this CPL.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Okay, callers, and we closing off school on that discussion for a bit. We're closing off that school discussion for a bit, and we're going to attend to some housekeeping matters. Some HR/industrial relations matters, and we're going to discuss that period of in your job when you really ain't know whether you're coming or you're going. Some people have it properly structured, some people have a name on it. Sometimes Mr. Madison is, and I'm going to be the advocate because he's the specialist today. I will be the advocate and he'll be the specialist today. But some people have a word for it and a structure and every process. And some people don't tell you all of that. But mentally, the worker is still there. You just reach. You're not too sure. They tell you might get permanent just now. You ain't too sure. You're just in a kind of purgatory, let me say it that way. You know? But we're going to talk about the structured part now that they call probation. You could give us your own little definition for probation?
Well, the first, just to go back a little bit on what you're saying.
Yes.
The first thing, you know, and who is really, what is a permanent worker?
Yes.
You know, what is a permanent worker? And the question is, some would say one with an open, because everybody have a contract.
Right.
Every single worker, once you are a worker, you have a contract.
Right.
Whether you sign one, whether you have one in person, in paper,
Whether
you
they
have a
give it to
contract.
you or
Whether they
not.
give you one, you have a contract, because you would have been given an offer for it to be working there. Somebody offered you to come and work,
And you accept.
and you accepted it,
Yes.
and they're paying you. So
Yes.
you have consideration.
Offer, acceptance, consideration.
Right. So everybody's a worker.
Correct.
Some people, I comment to that to
Yes,
answer
you
that
go ahead,
question.
Mr. Matheson, go
Some
ahead.
people, some employers will give you a contract, and they will give you a start date and an end date. So they call it, that's what we sometimes relate to as contract. Well, he's a contract employee, right? But that contract really means nothing in the space that we operate in, unless, of course, it is a contract for a project to operate within a particular time, and that project ceases to exist after that period, and therefore the contract comes to an end. And that is what we call a fixed term contract, and some of us will call it a contract for service.
Yes.
Right? That is separate and apart from the other kind of contract, for which I will say all of them are permanent. And you know, some people tend to agree with me, and those persons will be the persons who have contracts,
yes,
with, of course, which continues to exist, although they continue renewing it, it continues to exist all the time.
Yes.
And therefore those persons would have what is called, after a time, they would have a reasonable expectation to
Yes,
continue the
legitimate,
employment,
yes,
or legitimate expectation.
Yes.
And it is because the job for which you were originally contracted to do continues to exist.
Yeah.
But you ask the question as to what is probation, and who is it that the person or the worker is a worker during probation? And the answer to that is yes.
Yes.
Once you start working, and we establish the worker and the contract.
Yes.
Once you start working, you are a worker, and therefore you have the same right during that probation period as the person who would have been working for 19 years.
And I want you to,
so you have to be treated as such.
And I want you to pause there, because many times you hear employees say, they could leave, I can't leave, I am on probation. They could do this, I can't do that, they say I am on probation. I just started work here, so I can't go down the road. How they just go down the road? I am on probation. I don't get invited to certain things because I am on probation.
Right. So that would determine that those are specific elements of your contract.
Right.
Now, what probation really supposed to be is that period where you yourself get the opportunity to say, well, whether this job is the kind of the job I want to stay in,
yes,
or whether the employer, through systematic mechanisms of performance management, decide whether this person is the right fit for this job or not. And therefore, by identifying this particular period, the employer has to do a set of things during that period to be able to say whether or not this person is the person for this position or not. Where they did not do that, you cannot or you should not decide to just end the terms by virtue of we don't want you, or we don't like you, or you didn't meet the tests, or that kind of thing. That would be unfair, and of course that could be challenged.
So are you suggesting therefore that probation should be well structured insofar as it provides targets and goals defined for the worker by the employer? So the worker must know what are his expectations, his or her expectations during the probation period. It's not like you just come here to work and we watching here.
Yeah, so that is usually defined in your job description and that kind of thing, but more so in your offer, it will talk about what you are expected to do, and of course, it should be measurable. So you should be able to measure my progress within that period. I would say if you have a 6 months or 3 months, at least twice within that period, my performance should be measured, and I should be told that I have maybe given a PIP. For those who don't understand what is a PIP, a performance improvement plan, so that I am told how well I'm doing in that period. On the first occasion, given a performance improvement plan, told that I should, strengthen this XYZ area within a period of time. And then, of course, if I'm still not making it, probably use some other performance management interventions in your toolbox to address those shortfalls, whether it be coaching, mentorship, whatever, to bring that person up to the level. Some employers see that as we don't have that is not our purview. We don't have to do that. We give you a tryout, and we didn't make it, so you had to go away. But you could do that too. But that due process,
right?
When you hire me and you pay me $30,000 a month, or $20,000 or $5,000 a month, I then within that period, I then have commitments. So you come in and just dropping the axe on me or putting me to the gallows the last day of my 3 months to say that, hey, you didn't make it, go home. That's unfair.
Yeah. What about workers on short contracts, like 3 months contracts? Will they still go through a probationary period?
Well, I don't see the need for it. If you put somebody on a 3 months contract, this person have a contract just for 3 months.
Yeah.
That in a way signifies to me that this is not a contract for service you're talking about. This is just a fixed term contract for 3 months. So to clear a particular area before we put up your house or something.
Yeah.
But I understand where you're going, because there are employers that do that from time to time, and that's a risky thing for an employer to do. But because if you keep renewing that 3 months contract and the employer is watching and seeing down the road that, hey, this is a legitimate job that I'm doing. It is some way on the establishment. You all have been doing this for years, and you just tying me into this 3 months contract where I have no opportunity to bank in and all that kind of thing. Then that might be a kind of abuse of the system, and it at the end of the day just sending home the person because they say it was on a 3 months contract, 10 contracts down the road, they say, hey, you was on a 3 month contract, after you renew that 10 times.
Because I've heard in the employer's defense, the employer, just as a scenario, is saying that the employer's contract with a company is for the same period. So he says that he could only offer that because he has a contract, for instance, with Extra Foods. And he has a 3 month contract with Extra Foods.
Right.
Therefore, his contract of employment.
Brother, that's a different kind of contract.
Yes, I know. I just want you to explain it.
Right. So if that is your scenario, now that you're saying that, if that is your problem, then you have to write a different kind of contract for the person. Right? Because obviously that is the kind of project I was talking about.
Yes.
So you have to let the person know that your contract will end and it will only continue, right? On the condition that we continue getting this thing from this person.
But even so,
because you remember I spoke about reasonable expectation. I also spoke about the job continuing to exist.
Yes.
So, but that doesn't even come in there.
Yes.
To the extent that you already told this person, like it's like I don't know if you could do it with security guards.
Yeah.
But because security guards will have other contracts, security companies will have other contracts, so they'll have security for.
Yes.
But if you have a contract with a fixed date and an end date from a client,
yes,
and that contract ends abruptly,
yes,
you should have some kind. You should have engage your providers at your level, the people that providing the service for that contract in a different way, and you should understand how to do that. If you don't understand how to do that, well, you could end yourself up in some problems.
So this probation period, walk us through, the probation period from the employer side. What are the requisite things that should be part of this whole probationary structure?
Well, probation, as I would have said before, probation is something you would use when you employ somebody, and the intention is to employ this person long term.
Yes.
Right? You wouldn't give a professional a probation in that kind of way, because obviously that person, you can't give them a retainer to do something for you, right? To do some medical services for you or something like that as a professional, and tell me I have a probation on it too. That doesn't make sense, right? So you would give somebody a probation, somebody who you intend to employ long term. I do like to use the word permanent, because I see everybody as permanent, and you know why I say that. So you give that person a probation so that person, you would make a decision, or you and that person will have the opportunity to make a decision whether this is what you want to do and this is what you could do, or this is the person that could fit into the culture and be in that probationary period. Depending on the nature of the job, it will determine how long the probation is, right? But in that period, you measure the performance of the person, whether this person is the fit through very systematic, planned, and strategic means. Measure the performance of that person and address performance issues through PIPs and that kind of thing. And so that when the person completes that probationary period, you will know whether you need to extend the probationary period or whether or not but you would also give the person those things, that indication via letters and communication, whether or not this person is the person that you want to keep based on the performance, which are not subjective, but very clear and deliverable, clear deliverables that would actually say that this person is the person or this person is not the person, and you and the person must be able to identify that together.
Is somebody on probation, therefore, can they request a job letter? How soon after employment you would advise, or you would?
Well, a job letter is something everyone is entitled to.
Correct.
To request. Everyone is entitled. It doesn't matter if you're on probation or not.
Or not. Correct. So that have nothing to do with it.
That has nothing to do with it.
Because again, people say, they tell me I can't get a job letter because I'm on probation. That's not
nonsense.
true.
If you're working and if I pay you, then I am entitled to a job letter.
Correct.
Right? I'm entitled to a pay slip.
Yes.
I'm entitled to all those things because you're paying me. It doesn't matter if I'm on probation. You could say I'm on probation if you want on it.
Yes.
But you can't say that I'm not working for you.
Correct.
Right? Because I'm working for you.
Yes.
And in fact, you're setting yourself up if you say I'm not working for you. Because if you fire me at the end of the day but the proof was that I was working, I was getting paid, I was, that kind of thing, you're setting yourself up. So yes, a job letter is an entitlement to a worker once he's working with you. It doesn't matter how long he's working with you.
Right.
It's just to say that yes, you could put how long you working with it. You could put you on probation, whatever. Yes. But some persons just want to see that you're working somewhere.
Correct.
It might be for the court. It might be for something.
Correct. And as you were explaining the performance, the PIPs and all these things that management should have done during the probationary period, is it that you recommended this be done with the worker or without the worker? Should it be a surprise to the worker at the end of the day that they score 0 in this and that and that?
It should never be a surprise.
Correct.
It should never be a surprise. All these things are done with the worker.
Yes.
Right? And this is a progressive workplaces that want, what you hire me for? If you want to stab me in my back, unknowing without a seeing and that kind of thing,
yes,
then do hire me.
Correct.
Right? But if you hire me and 3 weeks after you fall out with me, I must know what you fall out with me for, I must know how I could address it. You know, I must know all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So don't hire a man and just
especially if you
want to
fall
fire
out.
me. It doesn't make sense.
What about if we fall out about things that have nothing to do with my work?
Exactly. Right? The thing is, we always talk about recruitment, and which is why I like this show, meaning I like the fact that we get to talk about these things at some
Yes.
point in time, right?
Yes.
Now, recruitment, as I say all the time, is a very expensive undertaking.
Yes.
Especially if depending on the nature of the recruitment, the nature of the job, the nature of the culture of the organization, and what you want, right? It's an
Correct.
expensive thing. And why will you undertake something as expensive as that with the intention to not give the person the chance to fit into the organization or to terminate them?
Yes.
Right? Why? Right? Because termination also is the next very expensive thing.
Well, we know that.
Right? Because you open to so many things. It's like a person who immune system just shut on them. You open to so many different things with that termination.
Well, because you see, some people use probation as a holding bay.
As a containment, a form of containment.
Yes, and don't understand that they have responsibilities to the worker.
Exactly.
During the probationary period.
Yes, you do.
You know? So when the probation up, we get rid of he. Why? We just say, he too lazy, and you invent all these reasons. You have it in your head, never communicated to the worker, and at the end of the probationary period, you write them.
So you're just watching something because sometimes you call attitude, and you're not being able to measure attitude. You're not using any kind of data, any kind of nothing, and you just say, well, this person's attitude. But those are things that
Probation up, going on up Wednesday, and Wednesday I call you and tell you, Stephen Matheson, it was nice knowing you, and unfortunately,
we can't offer you full-time
because the probation up, and we don't owe you anything because it was probation, and we call it probation.
That is bully.
Yes. Yes.
And that's something, employers, we do operate in an at-will system.
Correct.
And therefore, even if you want to operate, and I say at-will is good, I like at-will.
Yeah.
But at-will is good in a system where they are responsible employers.
Yes.
Because with at-will, it is you must be still doing the performance checks. You must still be providing that opportunity to survive in the workplace.
Yes.
All the different interventions that are available, HR people know that, and therefore you must know when you employ somebody.
Yes.
You employ that person, and to release them, you must release them using due process.
Yes. So, as we on that issue, what about dismissals during the probationary period?
Well, I mean, you said everything there, because if you was doing the right kind of performance management of the work, and performance management doesn't, for those people who listening and quasi HR people and that kind of thing, if performance management is not performance appraisal. Performance appraisal really is just a subset of performance management. So you have a whole lot of other things in performance management systems that you have to consider before taking certain kind of action, right? And as I was just mentioning, you have things like PIP, which is performance improvement plans. Yeah. You have coaching and intervention. Some time ago, I was dealing with an employer who had a problem with a particular worker, and this is not just a worker that was on probation, but this is a worker in general.
Yes.
And they had some performance issues, and we went through the whole gamut of all the different things that they could use in the toolkit. Assign a coach to the worker, we assign a mentor to the worker, we do all it after the PIP to ensure that, because at the end of the day, what you really want, the worker is you. The worker really is your human capital. You want that worker to survive. So you have to do what you need to do, the right kind of investments with the worker, because that's a capital. So you want to invest in that too, to bring that person up to the level that you want them to be operating in, and you have to do what you have to do that. The flip side of that is to do what we're talking about. Just on the 11th day, tell them to go home. Bye-bye, you'll see you, and we'll face the consequences down the road.
So you've addressed dismissals, arbitrary dismissals at the end of the probation period. But I want to tweak it a bit. What about dismissals during the probation period? Will employers feeling, or a boss might say, well, he on probation, I could get rid of he. He only supposed to be here for 3 months, he on probation anyway. It's 2 months or 2 weeks, I could get rid of he.
I remember once I was dealing with a case like that. I think it was Radisson Hotel and CWU. That was some years ago. And luckily it ended up with the matter. We reached in court with the matter, but the company ended up settling the matter. I was the consultant at the time for the company.
Yes.
And the matter was settled through conciliation. But I could have envisaged, if he had gone to court with that matter, the company would have lost that matter. And the reason is because, for all the reasons we just said, a worker on probation is a worker and has the same right to fairness as any other worker in the workplace. So for those who are listening and probably was asking yourself whether that worker have the same kind of rights, yes, you do have the same kind of rights. And don't tell me, well, we have in your contract we could do X, Y, Z, right? You know, most of the time that is nonsense. So the thing is, you have to understand that when you employ somebody and you put them on probation, you have a responsibility to manage that, and before you take action, to terminate.
So the worker then.
So if of course the worker would have done something that you think warrants termination within that period of time, that worker should be treated the same way like any other worker in a disciplinary process.
So if the worker, I agree with you. So, and if the worker, therefore, at the end of the probationary period is not offered full employment, which obviously is at the behest of the employer, it is not just a fait accompli. You must give justification for such.
Yes, well, your justification will be in your performance system, your performance management system, and what you would have done over the period. Anything outside of that will have to be either something your contract says specifically,
yes,
right, for which parties will have understood,
yes,
and which might be sometimes ultra-vires to the industrial relations system,
yes,
or it is something that is a chance you're taking with something, right? An agreement or something. But at the end of the day, the only thing in my opinion, or one of the major things in my opinion that could get an employer out of this whole thing is understanding the performance management system.
Yes,
and using it
properly.
To his properly. No, I wouldn't say to his advantage, but using it in the way that it should be used to manage the performance of a new hire.
Because often enough, you hire somebody, you tell them on their probation, but you leave them to swim. There's no particular coach, there's no particular directive. Your expectations are so high because you say, well, they passed the interview and this person scored good and they score high, but they have never worked there before.
Exactly, and that's the next thing, and that's one of the feelings of recruitment, and sometimes one of the feelings of how HR operating systems and recruit poorly.
Yes.
So sometimes, and one of the feelings of onboarding also, right? And contracts. So very often a person might be a good talker, they could pass the interview, they could understand your system, all of that. But then you come and you realize they're taking an inordinate length of time,
yes,
to fall in and fit into the system, understanding what you're doing. No, that man might have been an engineer. He have a good engineering degree. He have a 4.0 GPA,
Yeah.
and all of that. But that doesn't necessarily make him a good worker for your system.
Yes.
Your culture. You had to learn your system. You had to learn your culture. You had to learn what you want. You had to learn the people in the organization, and he had to have that kind of acumen for the business that you're in, to be able to survive. How do you know that, or how does he know that? Through your performance management system.
Yeah, it is clear that we have a very surface view of probation, and we like to have people in limbo, so we employ them, and all the reasons why they may or may not fit the company is in our heads.
Yes, correct.
Good. And the worker thinking he coming to work, he's struggling, no one is helping, no one is coaching, no one is recording, no one is measuring, no one is showing. And we just say that they can't make the cut. And when you do ask for performance appraisals, which I agree, as you said, is only one aspect, they're either very good.
You see, and a lot of times it is subjective. So it is on the basis of what you, the employer, say about the worker, which is why I see so many matters sometimes before the court, and you see performance management, performance appraisals pull out,
yes,
and the worker might still win you, because when you see through all the garbage, you realize that, hey, this was constructed to terminate this employee, right? So again, and sometimes the employee lose because the employee did not write what is necessary to safeguard himself or herself.
Yes.
So even that is something that people have to know. You have to understand the system to a large extent, and sometimes it is always be good to call a professional as an employer to deal with these kind of issues, or to put these kind of systems in place, and that to a large extent is missing.
Because often enough we make people on workers on probation feel like second tier workers. We make them feel that they are workers at the behest of the employer, and you so want to impress or get out of probation, you do any and everything, and sometimes you do very crazy things.
Exactly.
Right? And they chastise you for it. But there is no clear goal setting. There's been no clear conversation. You've used the word onboarding. All you know, your contract say you're on probation for 3 months. Good? But after the 3 months, they decide not to keep you because somebody and you get in the lunchroom, and they tell you you came late 5 times.
Yeah.
And they can't take that, and you're supposed to be work on time, and if you come work 5 times...
No, I'm going to check the late. You see, it's 2 minutes late, or 20 minutes late, and you check the worker and you realize this worker late because we come from an accident.
Correct.
And he ended up on you couldn't run, you know. All them kind of things, you know. We very...
You did not give them the opportunity to be heard.
We very subjectively do things in trying to be good for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And we not... It's unfortunate the way employers do things sometimes. And hence the reason why they end up in the kind of problems they end up in.
And I like how you emphasize the fact that the worker on probation still has rights.
Yes.
He still has the opportunity to be heard. He still has to be given the opportunity to explain. Because the shortfall might have been on the employer side. Good? You had no defined task. The worker was left, you know, open to the work elements. And sometimes, depending on who they paired up with when they came to work, they learn all the wrong things.
Correct.
Good.
Which is why even that, sometimes you might have what we call an ambassador, you know. That person would be the person who doing the onboarding. And not, because if you just leave it open to anybody, you will hear all the bad things about the organization. Who don't you see she don't talk to she, you know. You see how she's coming, she short skirt there, she only looking to get in a certain way. She looking for man or although you see he don't be going around, he don't like the company, he don't like management, and he will lead you astray and this and that.
So for many people, probation, not all again, let me say so we're not generalizing, but for many of them, probation is just a waiting game. And we are saying, and you are saying, that there's
just
a
to use it for a few months until you bye-bye.
Until you bye-bye.
Yeah.
When you are saying that, no, it's not like that. It's a very scientific period. It's a very important period. It can be costly if you didn't do it right. Good. It is a period in which...
And some employers do it and get away. So they'll think, we could do it. Right? They're lucky. Because sometimes you go on and work and you say, well, I lost nothing and my contract say probation, so it was only 3 months.
And workers walk away.
And you walk away.
Yeah.
But you're lucky.
Yeah.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
You're real lucky.
You are beneficiary of the ignorance of the worker.
Yes.
Good. That worker might be in a union, the shop steward not doing his job.
Well, no, a worker don't have to have a union.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing, he can just go to a union.
Yes.
Right?
But what I'm saying, when I say that, the union's responsibility to educate their workers, good, about their rights and their responsibilities, because it goes with rights.
Educate workers in general, because you already spoke about, I hear you talk about it all the time, about the percentage of workers that are unionized in Toronto, because it's a very small percentage.
Yes, our labor density is very low.
Yeah.
So that is why, as you say, and as we suggest, a lot of employers will, what we say in Trinidad in local parlance, GT.
Yeah.
Because the workers don't know better.
Exactly.
The amount of people we interact with, and I know you would too, because you have much more experience than I am, who should really end up in St. Vincent Street, but walk away.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know.
They didn't
it's
know.
the year after when you sit down by the bar.
Or they think it's real, you know?
Yeah. They might be feeling too trivial. And somebody in HR tell them, well, you was on probation, so they could have fired you. Which is really not the dispute. The dispute is how they did it. And for what reasons.
Exactly, because we just established that you're a worker.
Correct.
And because you're a worker, you have certain rights.
And probation does not deny you those rights.
Probation does not deny you those rights.
We have a caller. Caller, good afternoon.
Good evening, Empire again. Mr. Matheson, and well, this is more for you here because I know Mr. Rollins do it well. Now, the conversation is that in Trinidad, they make people go to school to get a job, right? And there's no way to say anything, but you know, your wealth and knowledge when you're giving out there for free right now is a crime, right?
But it's not really a crime because, I mean, at the end of the day, yes.
Mr. Matheson,
it's not really a crime because at the end of the day, a lot of people try to do it and they still do it wrong. The system that we operate in, every tub sits on its own bottom. So every situation are almost unique.
Turn on its own facts.
Right? Turn on its own facts. Set of facts. So if you feel you could just listen to what we're saying and do it yourself without hiring us or calling a professional, you might be setting yourself up.
We'll see you in St. Vincent Street on the other side of the bench.
But Mr. Matheson, I feel your mic off now.
No, his mic is on.
No, my mic is on.
Oh, I hardly hear you. But do you think in schooling, right, like in secondary school and in university, they should teach students the basics of their rights?
I didn't get you. I didn't hear exactly what you said.
All right, so like in secondary school and in university, do you think they should teach, you know, because you're going out to get a job, the basic rights of a worker?
Well,
that's the basic.
Well, I think persons should be, I guess the school system will say that's not really there It's not their job to do that. You have mechanisms by which you could know what your rights are, but there are many. So, but yes, I mean, there should be ways. I mean, if you listen to our program, I would say you know what your rights are over time. You know, both employer and employee. I am sure you don't know all. I am sure you, as a person in the US, I will just now. Let me answer this question. Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure you, as a person in living in Miami, do not know all your rights as a worker, or do not know all the things as an employer that you can be. You can because you have a lot of laws in Miami, just like in places like Los Angeles and that kind of thing, that deals with what you could do with a worker and what you can't, or what you should do and what you should not. Separate and apart or different from Trinidad and Tobago, we have a lot of legislation to actually protect workers in Trinidad and Tobago, which is a little different from trying to we more have a kind of socialist system as opposed to your full capitalist system in the US. So you operate under a system called employment at will. We don't necessarily we operate under employment at will, but termination for cause.
Yes.
Correct.
Right? So, but you still don't know everything. You still do, in the US you have you have things like which is the big on things like harassment on things like diversity. You know?
Yeah, diversity is very, very
diversity is a big thing. Things like who you could hire, what percentage of race you could hire, what is called percentage of race you could hire.
Oh, you're talking about affirmative action.
Affirmative action. So you have all those kind of laws in the US for which you don't really have in Trinidad and Tobago. So you have protection for workers in certain areas for which you
even though you have employment at will, they are big on discrimination. So you really have to also justify why you don't employ.
Right, why I didn't employ the person, and all that kind of thing.
And if it's cited anywhere that
no, we have that here too, to some extent for the Equal Opportunity Commission and that kind of thing, but it's not used.
Yes.
I mean, you didn't get a job in, you didn't argue.
You just say that is another.
And you know, one thing that they have across here too, you see, you know, like a minimal race, right? The minority race, you get a little more privilege at the job.
Right. So it's called affirmative action, right?
Yes.
So you have those kind of laws and things across that. We don't necessarily have that, or even if we have it, we don't adhere to that. Those things are not as important to us as certain kind of situation in the workplace that would represent abuse of our workers' rights and that kind of thing.
Okay, thanks, caller.
The last thing before I leave, right, I want to ask one more question. Mr. Matheson, I know you like China, I know China have a thing called non-competitive agreement that they let all workers sign.
Yeah.
Do you think that is fair? All right, look on, guys.
Yes, it is. It is, because if I bring you in my workplace, and I train you, and I pay to train, I do all of that, why should you be able to leave and within 2 weeks go to a competitor and give that competitor everything I train you to do? So all these things are good clause that our employer should have in his contract.
Okay. So callers, you could call in and chime in on the discussion. We discussed in probation, and you could maybe even share your experience on your work issue, your work history. And we're dealing specifically with probationary period. You may have gone through a difficult period of probation or unfair period or period you maybe didn't even understand what was going on. You could chime in and let us know. You could call us on 34200 81466539. Do you feel that there should be more protection for workers? Because there are during the probationary period, maybe not defined as that, but maybe that needs to be spelled out or clarified a little more, because as you say, custom and practice dictates that we feel, or it is told to workers, that you can't do A, B, and C. You can't be afforded A, B, C, D, and E because you're on probation. So really and truly, you have to work yourself out the hole to get permanent employment. And still, if you didn't say good morning too good, or that dressing looking too nice, and you're playing your fresh, you don't want to talk to the boss, you know he's the boss, you might end up off the probation, off, and you get a nice letter saying, we regret to inform you
that the management has taken a decision.
Yes.
That based on your performance over the last 3 months, we are unable to
based
provide
on your
you with
performance.
full-time
Yes,
employment.
they use big words like that. Good.
So yes, you know, we operate in a very formal environment, but we use very informal ways to deal with workers in Trinidad and Tobago, which is different from what happens in other places, right? And this is what we were talking about this is what I mean when I say that the system for which our good friend just called is different from the system that we have here.
Yeah.
Both of them have their advantages.
Yes.
And disadvantages. Right? So you could call in, and we can have chime in on the discussion that we have, and if it is relevant to your situation.
Yes, if it is relevant to you, or you've had probation issues, or you know of issues, or you know of experiences, you could share your experiences with us concerning this topic, because sometimes you feel it for workers on probation. Eh? There's a glitch.
Put up the fourth one. Yeah.
There's a glitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're being heard fine. You know, all colors message and say you were fine. That was his connection.
Oh,
yeah. Everybody else is saying you fine. So there's a glitch sometimes in how we deal with, and we use probation as a little something hanging over workers' head. Good, and sometimes we abuse them, and the worker wanting to get permanent, wanted to get
to be recognized as a worker in their head.
Yes,
because you know, I understand why you would bring this up.
Yes.
And that is because it is sort of prevalent. You hear it all the time. Yeah. Where a worker is sent home because, and the only excuse the employer could give, well, this man was on probation and we didn't want it. We didn't make the cut. Right? Without providing the evidence, without doing what he was supposed to do during the period.
Yes.
And sometimes they forget. And then they say, well, look, we will give you a further 3 months probation.
Yes.
And then they try to do it.
Yes.
I've seen it happen. You know? But the worker already has, you already told the worker he was on a 3 months probation. And without measuring his performance, then essentially he's no longer on probation.
So my question to you then is, can you just extend the probation at will without going through the first part, which is the analysis?
Well, you should. Well, you shouldn't. But they do it all the time.
Yes.
Right? And they do it because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. So they feel, well, okay, we will just extend it because we really want to get rid of this man.
Yeah.
Right? But they realized they didn't do what they were supposed to do. So they say, here, we will give you a further 3 months probation, but the contract you given to sign doesn't say 3 months.
Yes.
And I went through the 3 months, they didn't tell me nothing.
Yes.
Didn't have no problem.
We didn't have no meetings.
On the 99 day,
Yeah.
You know, telling me that you're giving me 3 months
You
because
extended the probation.
yesterday I found out that hey, he talking to that one too much and that one is a troublemaker.
So you extend the because you're
probation to destroy he.
Yeah, you're using probation as purgatory.
Yes.
So I'm paying you in purgatory a little more. You stay there a little while.
And we know we ain't going to extend. We know we're going to get rid of it at the end of that 3 months.
But you did not honor your obligations in the first probationary period. You know, I was just sitting there doing what I had to do, thinking, you know, and this time, you know, and it's such a, you know, I remember reading in law about the master-servant relationship. And it's so much like that because at that time, listen to me, you're sending the worker for barbecue, the worker doing all kind of things because the worker believes that there are other things unrelated to his performance that will enhance his chances or her chances of stable employment in the organization. Good? That's what the worker believes. Good? So the worker not just watching the job spec, you know, because remember that's a competence matter. You know, whether they might be competent or computer literate and they can maneuver all the software. But they start to do other things. Good? I heating up your lunch. I'm going for newspaper.
Well, Simoya, when she's here, Simoya does talk about that a lot.
Yes.
Right? And that is, or any other related duties. And that has become a question on this program over time. But so I can understand, you know, sometimes what gives rise to these concerns by employers.
Mr. Madison, employers use that and they tell you that that is under any other related duties. The only thing they don't tell you sometimes is to come home. Good? And some people end up there too. Under work pretense. Good? Correct. Or make work. You know? You employed Monday to Friday and Saturday all of a sudden you in work. Come and see me tomorrow. We have to go through this training. Good? So a lot of sinister motives. But while some workers are, I mean, we can't make excuses for all workers. Some workers are complicit. Sometimes they ain't fooling nobody. Good? But the goal, the end goal is to come out of this probation period and have a shot at it. You know? You ask a worker, and that is the typical response. Where you working? Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You permanent? No, I just started on probation. We use the words and we use the terms to mean other things. You know? Good? And then
from the time you say, okay, so if I'm say, where you working or are you working?
Yeah.
And you say, no, I'm just on probation.
Yeah.
I just saying I'm on probation. That connotates in my mind something else.
Yes.
Right? That connotates in my mind is a short-term thing.
Yeah.
So if how you say it there, that's how you're looking at it, then that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it may not be a short-term thing, but because the employer doesn't want to give any guarantees.
Well, he can't. You remember, probation has its significance, you know.
Yes.
Probation has its significance, and the significance is for us, both parties, to determine whether or not just the worker, but you too as the employer, whether or not this is the right fit for this organization, whether or not I am competent to do my work. But how do you determine that? Is by a system of you have a system to determine that. You can't just determine that arbitrarily. You can't just determine that through I like you or I don't like you or whatever. You're wasting time. You're going to waste a whole set of time and money down the road.
Yeah, you're wasting resources. Because you're really not fooling the worker.
Yeah.
Good. As a matter of fact, you're digging a pit for yourself. Because that worker is entitled to challenge.
Correct.
Your goodbye.
And this is in Trinidad and Tobago we talking. Yeah.
Yes. Unfortunately, we management have taken a decision. You know, go with God. We love the cakes you brought and the ice cream, but we must say goodbye. And a lot of workers, most workers will just walk away while I was on probation. You hear them?
Yeah.
You ain't working there again? Nah, I was on probation anyway, you know. I wasn't really permanent.
Yeah.
You hear? You see how the words are used?
Yeah.
Good? Not knowing that probation doesn't mean that there are not rights that you do have.
This is why when an employee take up a job, key among what the job is, he must get a job description.
Yes.
Because the flip side of what we say, there are a lot of persons who can just get a job, they didn't get no job description, what they're supposed to do, and that kind of thing, and they lost the work, and then the employer say, well, they wasn't meeting the standards or whatever. No. While the employer might be wrong, you might be feeling guilty.
Yes.
Because really and truly, you wasn't meeting all the things I was telling you to do.
Yeah.
Right? But really and truly, that might not have been what falls within the job spec that you should be doing anyway.
Yeah. Worse yet, if you hire the person without the necessary qualifications and competence.
Yes.
You deliberately did it.
Yeah.
You knew that from the interview stage.
Yeah.
Good. You knew what you wanted. You wanted a carpenter, where you hire a mechanic. Then you fire him because he's not a good carpenter.
Yeah.
Good. But all the signs in the recruitment said that you knew.
Exactly. And this is something called, I know we're going to end now, and maybe
Yes, so
this,
you can wrap up.
maybe
You go
this is a discussion we could continue another day, but this is why we will have something called realistic job preview to tell a worker, ladies and gentlemen, we will talk to you.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.